It is now time for What's Hot. This is where we talk about the stories that have everybody talking.
We are joined today by Susie Falk from the Falk Group Public Relations. Jeff Wagner back with us. Big news about electronic cigarettes. The FDA taking steps toward regulating e-cigs. The FDA wants to put them in the same class as tobacco, also prohibiting sales to anybody under 18, requiring clear health warning labels and no vending machine sales. Should e-cigarettes be regulated?
It is a nicotine delivery system, just like a cigarette.
And it is teaching a habit, I think.
Yeah, and
if you're young and you get into that habit and you like it.
Right, Courtney, you're right, and it can be sort of the gateway, smoking device that leads to cigarettes and whatnot. So I agree that the FDA should regulate this form of delivery of nicotine. Here's the problem: we don't know what's in the ingredients that these e-cigarette manufacturers are putting into them, and so I think it's pretty scary stuff that we don't know. I also think that they're putting things like flavors that taste like bubble gum and cherry and cinnamon, and so if you're a kid and your buddies are doing that, it's tasty. Let's try it, and before you know it, you're off smoking cigarettes. So I think we should regulate.
Okay, I'm going to go the other way. First, I don't think they should be sold to kids, all right? But having put that aside, if you talk to people who do this, this gets people off of cigarettes, because this does not, yes, it delivers nicotine, but the real problems with cigarettes are all the tars and the other stuff that are in there. This is, I think most people would say, it's a great alternative. Yeah. And you talk to heavy cigarette smokers, and they're saying this is the greatest thing since
And we're not banning it, Jeff. They can still tap into e-cigarettes. We're just regulating it.
Well, okay.
So you don't think you should regulate it all, like vending machine sales? You shouldn't need an ID so that if you're younger than 18?
No, like I just said, I don't think that they should be sold to minors, because that's a whole different thing. But as far as a lot of these other things where they're talking about like limits on advertising and that type of stuff, I don't think there is any evidence right now suggesting that these things really do have anywhere near the health risks of cigarettes. So I think a lot of this is premature. And again, I talk to a lot of smokers who swear by these things because this has been the way that they've gotten off cigarette smoking. And if that's the case, I'd actually like to see this be expanded.
It's a great alternative to cigarettes, for sure. But I do think that, we still don't know exactly what's in some of the ingredients some of these manufacturers are putting in there. I mean, when people were chewing tobacco, someone invented the cigarette that you could deliver, this way. And guess what? It wasn't regulated at the time. And guess what? Now we ban cigarette smoking because we know it kills you.
Let's take the question a step further. How do we feel about banning these e-cigarettes just like cigarettes are banned? Because there are people who pull these out in restaurants and go, it's just vapor, I'm not going to stop.
Well, it is just vapor. I mean, it is just vapor.
It's vapor that annoys people's noses and eyes. I mean,
have you ever, Susie? Have you ever been around this stuff?
Yes,
it doesn't smell like. No, I mean, this is
for
one of the
starters,
great things.
it's the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen. I understand why people do it. They should create some sort of a better looking device, because that thing looks kind of ridiculous. I think.
Okay, but I mean, thank goodness we don't prohibit people from doing dumb stuff or looking dumb. But all I'm just saying is, I mean,
we'd be off the air.
The big drag
nothing to talk about.
The big drag about cigarette smoking is you sit in somebody's car, if they're a cigarette smoker, it reeks, their clothes reek. Yeah. None of that stuff happens. I just think we need to be more open-minded.
Let's find out if the vapors are dangerous first, okay?
All right, we got to go.
No, we want to keep talking about this. All right.
You can fight it out during the break. We're going to reveal a viewer's choice topic after a short message.
And Brian Goddard back with another look at your forecast, our viewer's choice topic of the day.
Again, we are joined by Susie Falk and Jeff Wagner from 620 WTMJ. The viewers chose this topic today. California lawmakers killed a bill that would have created the country's first ban on that so-called affluenza defense. That was introduced after a wealthy Texas teen got probation for killing 4 people in a drunk driving accident. Affluenza, this is what, you're raised with such a silver spoon in your mouth, you don't know right from wrong?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, if you've never been corrected, nobody's ever told you don't do something, so get yourself drunk, get behind the wheel of a car, kill people, you're not expected to know right or wrong. I don't think you need a law banning this.
Apparently you do.
Well, what you need is a law banning idiot judges. There was an idiot judge that bought this. This I think it is that fringe thing. It is the outlier. I guess I just have more belief in the criminal justice system I don't think you're going to see this spreading. This was an elected judge who's probably not going to get reelected.
Right.
You know.
Right. I'd like to see public opinion shoot this one down. I mean, it's a dumb defense. It's, you know, if you turn it around and say really, really poor people, you know, wow, maybe they shouldn't be thrown in jail. And guess what? They're thrown in jail all the time. So we can't use the opposite argument in the courtroom. It's ridiculous.
But, you know, I understand the outrage behind this, because this is exactly this whole idea, and it feeds into this perception that you've got, you know, two types of a justice system. You know, one for people that have, you know, from wealth and privilege, and then one for everybody else. And that's why this was just such a bizarre decision on the part of this judge to buy into this, because everybody who's skeptical about the justice system now says, see, you know, if you're rich and you can get a good lawyer, you can get off. Look, they bought this, and that's bad for everybody.
No, I agree. I think it is bad for everybody, and
it just makes me shake my head.
Yeah.
You know, you got to give the lawyer who came up with the defense a lot of credit, or at least the marketing person that coined the term affluenza. You know, that's creative.
Hopefully, we don't hear it again.
Right.
It's time for our lightning round. Prom, the biggest event of the year for many high schoolers. Remember prom? But one North Carolina student says she was kicked out because she wore pants. A teacher told her she had problems with what this girl was wearing. Your thoughts?
I think she looks great. I don't know.
It's a different approach to prom.
It is, and I think she's making a sort of a style statement. And you know, if you look at some of her pictures, she's worn crazy hairdos and other stuff. I think that they probably should have seen this coming, and I don't know why the teacher thought that she should get kicked out.
It's not risque.
My guess is that it's not risque
It's
at
not
all.
a super teeny little skirt or anything like that.
I wonder if there was some behavioral issues going on maybe that night.
You got Diane Keaton wearing tuxedos to the Oscars for how many years, and the kid gets kicked out of prom for this.
Don't we wish we could go back to the old days when the big prom problem was people grinding and things like that? That's what normally these stories are. The kids get caught because they're, you know, getting too close, or there's too much stuff.
Leave enough room in there for the Holy Spirit, Jeff Wagner. That's what we were always
Think
taught.
of the money this girl saved.
They weren't holy. They weren't ripped up. She wasn't exposing anything. I think she looked just fine.
Yeah.
Shame on the school. They should apologize to her and her family.
Arm length. The What's Hot discussion will continue online. Find that page at tmj4.com/hot.